the sin of ignorance is, or what the things you're doing wrong you shouldn't be doing and don't know are wrong. The next thing is walk with Him. Walk with Him. Isaiah chapter 6 said, when I saw the Lord high and holy lifted up, and His train filled the temple, then Isaiah said, woe is me. He saw his own wrong because he walked with God. You know, I was thinking last night, when I was a kid, and Mama's here tonight, and she remembers this. I guess there ever was a kid didn't know anything about manners and refinement. I guess it was me. You'd never have known, you never dreamed when I was a kid that I'd grown up to be as cultured and refined as I am today. But I'll never forget. I didn't even know that you had glasses. I mean, drinking glasses. Because all we had are peanut butter jars and pint fruit. We call them fruit jars. I don't know why we call them fruit jars. That's all we ever had. And I can recall when I went to a place one time and had two glasses. Had one real tall, had a skinny thing on it. Another was sort of short. I didn't know what to do. I recall when I had my first date, somebody sent word and said, you're going to get, they'll do a corsage. I didn't know what a corsage was. I'd never heard the word corsage, but didn't want to seem ignorant. I sent back and said, she can have anything to eat on the menu. I don't care what it is. Ignorant, backwoods, I didn't know. Do you know my own father could not even read or write? I've seen my dad sign an X on a check, and somebody else would sign Willis Athy Hyles beside it. Ignorant. I can recall the first time that we never had a fork and a spoon and a knife at the same plate. One plate would have the fork, and one would draw straws over who got the fork, who got the knife, who got the spoon. And we never. And I went first time I ever ate at a place, and I saw two forks. I thought, good night. Why you need two of those? And I still wonder why. But I didn't know what to. And so what I do, and saw two spoons, one big long one, one little short one. I didn't know what to do. So when I got around people that knew what to do, and I began to watch them, and I just sort of look over like this, and I still do it some, and so do you. And like one lady said one time, sitting beside Emily Post at a banquet, she said, Miss Post, could you tell me something? She said, why, sure. You being the world expert on manners, are you supposed to eat your salad on the right or on the left? She said, you eat the salad on the left. She said, Miss Post, you just ate my salad. And so none of us always understand. I can recall, somebody said to me, in school one day, they said, you're supposed to pass the food to the right or the left. Well, we only had two of us, me and Mom. And we only had one dish. We just passed it across backwards and forwards. That's all we did. We never had more than, I mean that. If we had either a can of spinach, and that's all, or we had some fried potatoes, and that's all, or we had a can of Franco-American macaroni, and that's all, or we had a can of hominy, and that's all, or we had a couple of scrambled eggs, and that's all. I didn't know. Pass it to the right or the left? Nobody was at the right or the left. Mama's here, and just pass it to Mama, and she'd get some. Pass it back to me, and I'd take some. I didn't know. And I can recall when I went off to college, I didn't know you broiled steaks. I thought you fried them. Never had a broiled steak. I can recall I was almost grown when I learned it was wrong to stop. And I still can't understand why. I really can't. I mean, well, that's just the way we ate. We just got some grease and some flour and made some gravy. That's all. Now you let it harden and call it pizza, but we just made some gravy. And we'd get the biscuit and we'd just run the biscuit through it. And to me, I still can't figure out why that's wrong. I know it is wrong, and I don't do it anymore if anybody's looking. But I didn't know. I didn't know. And now I'm trying to tell you something. I didn't know that was wrong. I didn't. I really, honestly, I was a grown man before I knew that was wrong. And I can recall going to a banquet to speak one night, and I took a piece of the bread off of the. You're going to think my mother is really pagan, aren't you? Right again. And but I didn't know it was wrong, and I was almost grown. I was 17 years old before I knew that you weren't supposed to eat peas with a spoon. And I still think it's sort of dumb to chase peas across, especially the last 2 or 3. When you get out of the last 2 or 3, it's impossible to chase them with a fork. I mean, and it never dawned on me it was wrong to use your thumb and push it. I didn't have any idea. And to put one hand on the table, that has got to be the stupidest thing ever invented by man. To be sitting there and you peas you can't catch, and you got a finger, and you put the thing under the table like this and chase those things all over. I mean, why? I don't know why. It's stupid. It's ignorant. But kids, you better do it. They say it's right. And so honestly, I was almost grown before I knew you were supposed to put one hand under the table. You put one hand on the table, Sally? I was almost grown. But you know what I did? I got around a bunch of people that knew how to do it. And I'd watch them as they'd hold it, put the hand on the table. And I'd watch them as they'd eat their soup. Say, how'd you eat your soup? We tilted the bowl toward us. And like, I didn't know you're supposed to hold the spoon that way and slide it away from you like that. And then bring it up and sip out of the side. Dumbest thing in the whole world. Any fool ought to know you ought to sip out of the zipper that's on the front where you can get your mouth around the thing. But you sip out of